Now, from the Newswatch 16 Election Center, the 86 vote.
Good evening. If you haven't voted yet, you have only 2 hours left.
The polls close at 8 tonight, and there are many races on the line. In Lackawanna County, voter turnout is described as above average. It might be because both major candidates for governor of Pennsylvania are from that county. In other parts of the state, the turnout is described as moderate to heavy. In our area, election officials say they are expecting a good turnout since there are so many hotly contested area races. Elsewhere, state officials say they're surprised by the number of voters going to the polls because of the weather and because it's a non-presidential election. Nevertheless, this is the day when your vote counts.
We begin with the governor's race, which holds particular interest, that is, for our area, because both candidates are natives of Lackawanna County. The Republican Bill Scranton cast his ballot shortly after 8 this morning in Waverly. Scranton told us he's confident. The Republican is in Philadelphia tonight, where he has set up camp to watch the election returns and also to prepare either his victory or a concession speech. Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini is in Philadelphia tonight. He will have updates on Scranton's reaction all evening long.
Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds has been following Democrat Bob Casey. Bob Reynolds is live now at Casey headquarters in Scranton. Bob?
Well, Karen, right now, reporters and photographers actually outnumber the Casey supporters, but that'll change in about 2 hours when this room will literally be packed with people. Now, within the last hour or so, Mark Single, Mr. Casey's running mate, and some of the Casey family members arrived here. Now, Casey spent the day with his family, but first thing this morning, he himself was out to vote. Casey says he ran an aggressive but professional campaign. His opponent, Bill Scranton, has another name for it, smear. Casey has placed TV ads saying Scranton only got to become lieutenant governor because of his name. Some of the ads show Scranton with long hair and link him with transcendental meditation. Scranton has admitted using drugs in the 1960s, but Casey has refused to use that as an election weapon. Now, of course, those ads and Scranton's drug use and their effects on voters will be debated long after the polls close. Right now, the eyes and ears of Pennsylvania are focused right here at the Hilton at Lackawanna Station in Scranton. This is just some of the equipment that you see behind me, which is being used to beam the night's activities to radio, TV stations, and, of course, newspapers all over the Keystone State. We'll be here, and, of course, we'll have more reports throughout the night. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, with a live Instacam report in Scranton. Nolan, Karen?
Okay, thank you, Bob. Among the congressional races tonight, a tough battle in the 11th Congressional District.
Republican Mark Holtzman is trying to unseat incumbent Democrat Paul Kanjorski.
Newswatch 16's Valerie Devine is live now at Holtzman's headquarters in Wilkes-Barre. Valerie?
Well, Nolan, we're live here at the station complex in Wilkes-Barre. This is the headquarters for congressional candidate Mark. When quiet preparations are underway for tonight's festivities, that will go on all night. Now, earlier today, we caught up with the congressional candidate who, like many campaigning, we caught up with him here at the Wilkes College Gymnasium, shaking hands and talking to voters. Now, during his campaign, Holtzman has admitted he has an uphill battle ahead of him to clinch a congressional seat at the youthful age of 26 and in an area that is predominantly Democratic. Now, Holtzman has used his ties in Washington, including the president himself, throughout his election to try and show he can handle the job, even though he has no past legislative experience. Now, if he can win tonight, it would be quite an accomplishment. Holtzman would become the youngest member of the U.S. House of Representatives. Valerie Devine, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam in Wilkes-Barre. Back to you, Karen and Nolan.
Thank you, Valerie. The incumbent congressman in the 11th District is looking for a second term and a victory celebration tonight.
Newswatch 16's Mark Davis is live now at Paul Kanjorski's headquarters in Wilkes-Barre, where that party would take place. Now, we're hoping that we're going to have that report for you in just a little while. We are ready with it. All right, we'll see him right now. Mark?
Better late than never, Nolan. It could be quite a party here at Gymnasium in downtown Wilkes-Barre. That is because if Congressman Paul Kanjorski is reelected tonight, he would be the first two-term congressman in this district since Dan Flood left office back in 1980. Congressman Kanjorski is a 49-year-old Nanticoke attorney and has spent this election day getting around on crutches. A recurring back injury has the congressman hobbling just a bit. These pictures taken late this afternoon as he met with some supporters outside a Nanticoke polling place. Now, the congressman is described as being cautiously optimistic tonight about the outcome. Along with his wife, Nancy, and many of his supporters, the congressman has stood pat on his 2-year record of what he says are many accomplishments for this district. And that's been the mainstay of this year's re-election campaign. Now, if Kanjorski is reelected tonight, some say that it could finally close the door the revolving door of changing congressmen every 2 years in the 11th Congressional District. We'll be here all evening long and have more for you a little bit later on. I'm Mark Davis reporting live from Kanjorski headquarters at Genetti's in Wilkes-Barre. Karen, Nolan?
Thank you, Mark.
In just about 2 hours, the Newswatch 16 will be telling you how the voters of Pennsylvania cast their ballots today. But just as interesting a story is why you voted the way you did. Here's our news director, Paul Stuber, with the results of a Newswatch 16 Teichner poll.
Everybody agrees you have to be informed about the candidates and the issues before you can make an intelligent choice on how to cast your ballot. We wanted to find out how the voters of Pennsylvania got the information necessary to make informed choices in the voting booth. We commissioned Teichner Associates to ask 800 registered voters how important different campaigning methods are in making a choice. One surprise. Despite an apparent avalanche of political advertising, voters said commercials don't play a decisive role. Statewide, 35% of the voters we polled said news coverage was the biggest factor in making up their minds. In second place, televised debates. Tied for third place at 9%, commercials and personal contact. So the old way of campaigning, getting out and meeting the voters, pressing the flesh, and the new way, commercials, apparently don't have as much influence as news coverage or TV debates. We'll all find out tonight as we watch your vote count here on WNEP. I'm Paul Stuber, Newswatch 16.
And when Newswatch 16 continues, we'll be telling you about 2 terrible accidents today in our area.
Plus, we'll tell you why a Scranton native who was convicted as a spy is back in our area tonight.
There's so much to see in New Jersey in the fall. My friends and I thought we'd take a look from up here.
Right.
Okay, what would you like to see in your fall vacation?
How about Misty Mountain?
Long wide beaches,
Sweeping fall scenery,
hiking through rolling countryside,
colorful historic sites.
boating on beautiful lakes.
That sounds great. And it's all here in New Jersey. Why go anywhere else? New Jersey and you. Perfect together.
Get the Chevy edge and beat the competition at your Keystone Chevy dealer. What makes the Chevy Celebrity the #1 selling car in America? Just listen to this. The 1987 Celebrity Eurosport has a 2.8-liter V6 rack and pinion steering and sports suspension, all with a base price that's $5,000 less than a Nissan Maxima and $700 less than an Olds Cutlass. Beat the competition at your Keystone Chevy dealer.
Got what you're looking for.
The Chevy Edge.
A Scranton native and admitted spy is back in our area at the maximum security federal pen at Lewisburg. John Walker was transferred here last week from the Washington area after authorities say he faked that he was sick in an escape plot. Walker pleaded guilty last year to charges he spied for the Soviets. His son also admitted to spying. They're both scheduled for sentencing on Thursday in Baltimore. Under a plea bargain agreement, Walker is to be sentenced to life, eligible for parole in 10 years. Officials say the spy ring sold Navy secrets to the Soviets for 17 years.
And the Weather Watch is next with our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark.
Well, at least around here, the rain held off for Election Day.
It's a good thing that Election Day was today and not tomorrow. We got a storm heading our way, folks, and I'll be back to tell you what it's going to bring. You're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP TV, and we're proud to serve Nicholson and all of Wyoming County.
What will you do when your needs outgrow your electronic typewriter? Will you trade in your electronic typewriter? Buy a whole new system? Nope, not if it's a Canon.
Add a disk drive that controls and stores an unlimited amount of text. Add a 12-inch screen that lets you see it all. At last, a letter-perfect document. You'll love never making mistakes again. Imagine an electronic typewriter, a full-featured word processor, a letter-quality printer. Call GBM now to get started.
Magic 93, the FM station everybody's talking about.
I like the music and not a lot of commercials.
Of course, I grew up in the 60s, so I like to listen to music from the 60s and 70s.
It's the nicest listening station you could hear. Early morning, afternoon, evening in the car driving home from work. It's terrific.
Mellow, smooth, nice.
Magic 93. Tune it in and spread the magic.
The National Education Association released a survey today on how much money we spend on education. That survey shows that Pennsylvania is above the national average spent on each student and on teachers' salaries. Here in Pennsylvania, we spend more than $4,000 per student each year, and a teacher's salary, on the average, is more than $24,000 yearly. Nationwide, the average spent on students is just over $3,000, and an average teacher's salary was a little over $23,000 per year.
Well, I guess tomorrow is one of those days maybe you just don't want to leave the house. Is that it?
That's what it sounds like.
Not without an umbrella, Karen. We have some colder temperatures coming in tonight, and that's going to present some possible problems for the morning hours as the precipitation from the next storm should begin falling over northeastern and central Pennsylvania. And if you can tell us when the first inch of snow is going to fall here in our backyard, then the first prize in our snowblower contest will be your choice of either a heavy-duty 5-horsepower John Deere snowblower on the right with its own headlight, or a smaller 3-horsepower model. After the first prize winner picks, the winner of the second prize will get the other snowblower. Third prize in our contest is this 18-inch John Deere chainsaw. Fourth prize is a gasoline-powered leaf blower, and we're giving out 105th prizes. The 100 people who guess closest will get both a bag of ice melt and a jug of windshield washer fluid. Now, everyone who enters is eligible for 106th prizes. Corduroy John Deere caps. Now, here's how to enter. On a postcard or on the back of an envelope, put your name, address, and telephone number, and the exact date and nearest full hour when you think one continuous snowfall will have left the first full inch of snow in the WNEP TV backyard. We won't open letters, so please put your guess on the back of a postcard or an envelope, and please print. You can mail the entry to Snowblower Contest, WNEP TV, Wilkes-Barre Scranton Airport, Avoca, Pennsylvania, 18641. And in case of a tie, a drawing will be held from among all correct entries. And so far, we've had more than 26,000 entries. Good luck to everybody. My weather watch tonight begins down there in Berks County. I have a weather watcher in the town of Bartow. Mrs. Barry Crum has 48 degrees in her backyard now, a few leftover clouds. Joyce Stevens in Camptown has 34 under a clear sky. And in Selinsgrove, Kay Spiegelmeyer reports 42 from her place. In the backyard now, we do have some stars overhead, and the temperature is dropping down through the 40s now. We have a current reading of 41, the humidity 60%, the wind from the north at 12, and the barometer at 30.2, and it's rising tonight. Range and temp here today, 50 this afternoon as the skies brightened up a little bit, 41 the low this morning, 73 the record high set back in 77. A year ago today, also 50, and we had some rain here in the backyard. And a view of some of those stratocumulus clouds drifting by today over Wyoming County. Satellite motion into the clouds coming up next, and concentrate on the southern part of the U.S., and you can see a storm system winding its way up the old Kama cloud, and notice it's advancing up towards the northeast, up the Ohio Valley towards Pennsylvania. Big thunderstorms down ahead of that storm system, centered over eastern Texas now, and what we have over Pennsylvania is some colder air coming down from the north ahead of this Canadian high, and that will drop temperatures down to the freezing level in many places tonight, and so as the precipitation begins from this storm, it could be of the frozen variety early tomorrow morning. Here's the radar view, just a few showers now with that cold front, and nothing over Pennsylvania, a dry evening, and there's the leading edge of the rain now ahead of the storm, and some heavy thunderstorms down over Arkansas and Mississippi, so I'm moving up towards Pennsylvania at about 20 miles per hour. So, for tonight, we will, or you will, if you go outside, you'll see the stars overhead. A mostly clear night, and again, freezing temperatures, about 30. The morning low in Nicholson should stay dry up until about 6 or 7 o'clock. Glen Summit, 30 tonight. Pennsdale, 33. Elysburg, about 34. And a northeast wind overnight at about 10. The sun will be coming up tomorrow morning behind the clouds at 6:39. Sunset, we won't see that, 4:55, just for the record. Now, it's going to stay mostly clear tonight, 33 here in the backyard. Could be about 29 or so in some of the northern counties tonight. Cirrus clouds will move in late tonight. Cloudy tomorrow morning. The rain will be arriving between about 7 and 9 a.m. And it could begin as some sleet or even some wet snow, possibly some freezing rain in some of the coldest spots, especially north of Wilkes-Barre and Scranton. So it's possible to have maybe a few school delays, but I don't see any cancellations. It'll warm up. The rain will become heavy at times into tomorrow night. Taper off Thursday morning. It'll be windy, about 50 on Thursday, and Friday partly sunny with temperatures Friday and Saturday in the low to mid-50s. So it could be a little icy in spots tomorrow morning. We'll have an update on it tonight at 11. Karen, Nolan?
Okay, Tom, it looks like our morning crew with Frank Andrews and Marisa Burke will have their hands full at 6:30 tomorrow morning between election returns and also the weather situation.
Just a scattered type ice event tomorrow morning. Nothing widespread.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom. A bridge in Susquehanna County came falling down today, and we have these pictures courtesy of Newswatcher Earl J. Olver of Honesdale, who put his camera to work for Newswatch 16. The bridge was on Route 706. Susquehanna County opened a new span nearby, so the old one came tumbling down. The demolished bridge used to take you over the train tracks near Route 11. Good shooting. Okay. The Sports Watch is next with the Manager of the Year in the American League.
Plus, Carlson's Crowd, talking about amateur sports.
A lot of special ingredients go into northeastern Pennsylvania's premier radio station, WARM. Like the Harry West Morning Show.
Harry West at 590 warm along with Emerson, our janitor. Get out of here, will you?
Warm News, northeastern Pennsylvania's largest radio news staff. And Warm AccuWeather.
6 to 8 inches of snow today with deep drifting and high winds. Operation Snowflake listing of school cancellations.
590 AM WARM, the best of northeastern Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Jim Messina, president of the new Northeast Chrysler Plymouth. Here with Leo Chulo, our general manager. We'll promise you two things.
I'll give you the best deal anywhere on a new Chrysler product or top quality used car.
And I'll make sure you get the best care anywhere after the sale in our all-new service department. At Northeast Chrysler, we value your business. And like Lee Iacocca said, the pride is back.
We're proud of our business and want you to take pride in your new car.
So for the best care anywhere, stop in at the new Northeast Chrysler Plymouth, 4250 Bernie Avenue in Moosic.
You know, you folks at home don't realize a lot of what goes on behind the scenes here at Newswatch 16. But on Election Day, let me tell you, those of us behind the scenes and in front of the cameras feel very sorry for the sports department. Because they're shunted in the background. You know, nobody talks to them. We don't give them the time of day. But now they'll come forward and shine as they always do. Right, Mr. Carlson?
You want to be my agent?
Wow, what a lead-in.
I'll tell you what, I'll give 10% of my salary to you next year. Wow, thanks, Nolan. John McNamara, the manager of the American League champion Boston Red Sox, today was named American League Manager of the Year by the Baseball Writers Association of America. McNamara beat out Texas Rangers boss Bobby Valentine by just one first-place vote in the balloting. It was the first time McNamara won the Manager of the Year award in his 13-year managerial career. Well, with all the voting going on today, Sports Watch 16 hasn't dropped the ball. We have our weekly feature where the sports fans of the area get to make a vocal vote on a particular subject as part of Carlson's Crowd. Today's question involves amateur sports. More specifically, is there too much emphasis on winning in amateur sports?
Yeah, I think there's way too much emphasis. I think the kids should be taught more sportsmanship and just have more fun. Let the professionals really worry about winning or losing.
I always found, I played a lot of amateur sports, and you put that pressure on yourself. I don't see there's any outside pressure.
I think that winning is important to the kids. You know, molding them for the future. You know, it's good discipline for them, I think.
I think there's competition is stressed too much for the youth today. I think people should strive to compete with themselves rather than with other people.
Some amateur sports, especially, let's say, little leagues, places where parents can get involved. I think a lot of pressure comes from parents for their kids to win.
When it gets to the point where it stops being fun, that's when it's too much. That's when you should go back to the basics and what amateur sports are all about. And that's competition.
The emphasis should be on the quality of the play and getting more of the younger players involved.
There might be, because of the fact that people start really early, that winning is the only way to play the game.
Well, I think the parents really try to push their kids a little bit too hard sometimes. I think that there is, yeah.
I pretty much agree with all those folks. How about you? That's what Carlson's Crowd says about too much emphasis on winning in amateur sports. Now, if I can offer my feelings, please. If you look at the definition of amateur in the dictionary, you'll see it says someone who participates in something such as sports
just for the love of it. It doesn't say anything about the love of winning. Simply put, I think amateur sports would be a lot more fun and would be loved by our young people, especially if there was less emphasis put on winning and more on playing for the love of competition. You know, there'd be a lot less burnout among our youngsters when it comes to playing sports at any level. Well, the University of Scranton soccer team lost to Elizabethtown in the Middle Atlantic Conference Northern Division title game this afternoon. The final 1-0 in the soccer game as E-Town won it in overtime. Now, despite the loss, Scranton will move on to the NCAA Mid-Atlantic Regional Soccer Playoffs this Friday as the #1 seed. And in high school field hockey, the girls of Lackawanna Trail lost today for the first time in 41 games to Camp Hill. The final 2-0 in the state AA playoff. And we are sorry to hear that both those teams lost today, but that's the way sports is. We'll be back on the update with whatever.
With just a little bit of time
That's
for you.
right. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Jim. The Newswatch 16 election computer is ready to tally the votes.
And we'll tell you about our preparations next.
Wednesday begins Faye's Drugs' gigantic half-price Christmas sale. Save 50% on Faye's huge gift selections. 1 week only at Faye's. Obviously not your average Christmas store.
Finally, here's a look at how our team has been working today so you can see your vote count on the selection day.
It's not only this studio that has been outfitted by technicians with extra cameras, computer terminals, and desks for workers. Our Newswatch 16 election computer is loaded with all of the races in our viewing area. We'll be giving you results as they are officially tabulated, and you'll be seeing them at the bottom of your TV screen as you watch ABC programming tonight, as well as live reports throughout the evening. You won't be missing your favorite ABC programming. Our reporters are where the candidates will be tonight, including Bob Reynolds with Casey in Scranton, Bob Costantini with Lieutenant Governor Scranton in Philadelphia, reporter Joe Ducey in Philadelphia with Senator Spector, and Dan Fiorucci with Challenger Congressman Robert Edgar in Philadelphia. Our coverage starts just after the polls close. We'll have special reports at 8:15 and just after 8:30, 9:05, 9:50, and 10:25, as well as information at the bottom of your screen during those ABC programs.
And that is Newswatch 16 for this Tuesday.
Be sure to stay with us throughout the evening for those latest election returns.
And we'll have the complete wrap-up tonight on the update at 11.
For the team, thank you for being with us.
Enjoy your evening.
If you have a home videotape camera, you can become part of the Newswatcher network. When you see news, you can shoot news for Newswatch 16. If we use a videotape story you shot, we'll play you and mention your name on the air. But we can't use your tape unless you're a part of the Newswatcher network. For information, write Newswatcher, WNEP-TV, Wilkes-Barre Scranton Airport, Avoca, Pennsylvania, 18641. And we'll send you information on joining the Newswatcher network.